Well, hi, this is Byron Pitts of the CBS Evening News with First Look. Katie Couric's anchoring tonight's broadcast from Fort Stewart, Georgia, an Army military base just outside Savannah, Georgia. Beautiful part of the country. And so the bulk of the show will be devoted to the U.S. Army and their efforts in the war in Iraq. President Bush, as you know, has this big announcement this week, Wednesday. We expect he'll talk about the surge in the military force in Iraq. And we will deal with that. The latest from Washington, the Pentagon, where that stands with that story. David Martin, likely from the Pentagon. Laura Logan, our chief foreign correspondent, will be reporting about the mood overseas in Iraq. And I have a story from Fort Stewart, which, for me, was one of those moving things that we get to cover. It was the deployment of an advance team from the 3rd Infantry Division of the U.S. Army headed to Iraq. They're in Kuwait now. They'll be pushing into Iraq shortly. And so we spent the day with this staff sergeant. His day started at 5 a.m. when most of us were still asleep. This staff sergeant, his wife, their daughter, his sister, were up and packing his bags as he headed off to war. What a wonderful family, and talking about his sacrifice, leaving his family for a year. This is a guy in the past 4 years has been gone away from his wife and his 7-year-old daughter, 2 years out of the past 4 years, and he's gone now for another year. Talk with him in the morning at 5, with him at 7 o'clock when he was issued his weapon, the rest of his equipment, and there when he took off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a plane with his colleagues in the Army, and they're leaving their families for a year. So our story is about taking you through the last day of that process. And showing you what these guys go through and the sacrifices their families make. So that's the focus of the broadcast tonight, a real personal look at this war effort, the sacrifices people make, and the latest information about what President Bush plans to do later this week when he talks about what we're hearing, the surge in military forces into Iraq. So those stories and more tonight on the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric, live from Fort Stewart, Georgia.